their skills are valued enough in the industry to be able to do that. See, the difference between a regular BBA and a BBA in branding and advertising is many of our students on their own are able to get live projects. We say that we offer T-shaped learning. T as in deep in branding and broad overview of business. And
this particular program provides resources or workshops to the students to actually enhance their communication, because I think communication is a very integral part when we are looking at branding and advertising.
Absolutely. Communication, and besides communication, creativity is extremely critical.
Hi everyone, I'm very happy to introduce you all to Dr. Kiran Desai, the Associate Dean at NMIMS School of Branding and Advertising. Dr. Desai holds a PhD in Management Studies from NMIMS University and an MBA in Marketing from Gujarat University and a BSc in Mathematics from Saurashtra University. With over 13 years of teaching experience, she specializes in marketing and consumer behavior with a strong focus on building brands. Dr. Desai has received several honors, including the Best Research Paper Award in 2013, and she led a student team that became global semi-finalist in the Google Online Marketing Challenge in 2016. And I'm very glad. Let's join me in welcoming Dr. Kiran Desai.
Dr. Kiran Desai, thank you so much for joining for this particular session. And I have some, good questions for you, which would actually, from the perspective of the student and parent community. And I hope, with the answers, we are able to help the student and parent community. Okay. What I want to understand from you is what exactly is the overview, or if you can provide an overview of the program, which is BBA Branding and Advertising. That would be very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us and talking to me. I represent NMIMS School of Branding and Advertising, and we offer Bachelors of Business Administration in Branding and Advertising. And what this course does is that it offers a specialization in branding, but it covers marketing because branding emerges from marketing. It also covers subject in business administration, which means the candidate, the student, gets a deep dive in branding and a broad understanding of marketing and business management. So many of our students are as good at marketing, as good at business administration. We cover subjects like economics, we cover principles of management, we cover Microsoft Excel, strategic management, all that. That means unless you are good at managing a company, you cannot understand what are the marketing objectives. Unless you have a good understanding of marketing, you cannot understand the branding objectives. So therefore, all three are actually interconnected. We say that we offer T-shaped learning. T as in deep in branding and broad overview of business and marketing. That's what we do.
Thank you so much. I think that was very, well put up. My next question to you is about the practical learning. Okay, is there any kind of a capstone project which kind of gives students, a little practical knowledge? When I say capstone project, I'm also asking in regards with if there is any kind of thesis which is required, any kind of research which is required. Also, can you give an example of those particular projects or capstone projects which the students are doing and how exactly it is helping them?
Sure. So, if we talk of our students, there are three kinds of outcomes that can happen as part of our learning. And capstone is connected to that. So, one outcome can be that the student may go abroad for higher learning. In that case, a research project, which is as in a studious research project, scientifically done, is very useful for getting admissions abroad. Second kind of outcome can be the student is looking for some higher learning in India. They also prefer, but they are okay with case study based learning as well. Third outcome can be actually doing work in the industry for about say 18 months, 2 years, and then going for postgraduate studies. So accordingly, our capstone is also designed where a student can pick up any of these three options, which means the student can either do a survey a market survey, and that can be the basis of their capstone, and their thesis can be around a market research, or they can do a literature search. That is, what is the various theories, and that helps for students who are going abroad for learning, because that is highly valued. Third can be to do a case study where they pick up a particular brand and do a deep dive exercise onto how exactly is it panning out. How did the brand come about? What were the marketing objectives? What are the company's unique market situation? What is the company's strength? And then building it into a narrative, which means that the student, if he's doing a case study based capstone, he is not only learning about business, marketing, branding, but he's also learning the skill of writing, of actually organizing their thoughts and presenting it in a coherent manner. So this capstone, these options are given to students. They can do any of these three. All three of them. So some of my students, for example, they went abroad. Okay, they preferred the literature search. The literature search where they actually looked at 50 different papers and then they did a literature review on that. That review was featured in NMIMS research-based learning symposium. The research was good enough to be featuring there along with other MBA colleges. So on the other hand, there is a student who did case-based study. And this case-based study student, later on he participated in an international competition and he won it. And he will now be going to Las Vegas. He was a third year student. Capstone usually comes in the third year. So at the end, that means the student has learned all the subjects and then they do the capstone. So the capstone was good. The case study based capstone was good enough for him to participate in an international competition. That's how it is.
Okay, that's something which is very helpful. Now, are there any service learning opportunities or community-based projects integrated into the curriculum?
Yes. So these days, all subjects and all courses are extremely focused on, being environment and social governance and cause-based. All that is become very important. Besides that, our students, after they finish the first year, they go for NGO-based internships. After they do the second year, they do market internships with actual companies. So they are supposed to deal with all this kind of experiences and bring them to the classroom. There is an evaluation that happens. As far as service-based, I just wanted to ask you, are you talking about any internships or service outside? Yes. So, see, the difference between a regular BBA and a BBA in branding and advertising is that many of our students on their own are able to get live projects as well as they do some work, outsourced work on their own. We don't help them, they do it on their own, which means that their skills are valued enough in the industry to be able to do that. Our third year batch, their timings are from morning till afternoon. After the afternoon, many of them go to work for a company from 1 o'clock onwards. Because if we delay anything in the class, they tell me that don't delay my company, I have to go to work for my company. So you can imagine that the student has not yet finished PBA, but the course is valued enough for them to land a job. That is the kind of demand, because it's a practical aspect to BBA. That is why it is valued.
Absolutely makes sense. Okay. We are also, at this age, we are looking at student being very well updated in terms of, if you look at skills like the leadership skills and the communication skills. What my question to you was, is this particular program provide resources or workshops to the students to actually enhance their communication? Because I think communication is a very integral part when we are looking at branding and advertising.
Absolutely.
Okay, communication, or be it leadership skills.
Yes.
Okay, so what exactly are the extra let's say workshops or projects or anything else which is provided by the school to make sure the students are updated with that?
So first of all, each course, each subject, which means that if you are talking about 16 subjects in a year, in the 3 years, 48 subjects, each of this subject ends with a project, term end project. And that term end project has to be presented. where each student has to speak. So first is that they get corrected at that level. Besides that, we have master classes. For example, the students have just gone, currently the students will be going through a master class on how to put up their profile on LinkedIn. And for there, we have a LinkedIn person who actually gives workshops to senior professionals. That person not only takes the class, but he's going to teach the students. We have communication skills as a subject, where usually we bring in some industry person. So as you very rightly said, communication, and besides communication, creativity is extremely critical. Today, creativity is critical to everybody. For us, it's like necessary, it's not optional. So we take a lot of effort to see to it that the student has creativity skills, critical thinking skills, because they have to be innovative. They cannot afford to be, so you cannot make a great brand if you are going to be the run of the mill thought. So which means ability to break through the clutter and to shine on the basis of your own innovative idea is very critical. And that is why I say that while our course does offer education, it is more that it transforms personalities. So many of our students, they come as an introvert, but they don't go out as an introvert because they have to do so many branding ideas. Our course requires them to make a film. So typically a student who would have passed through this course would have made at least 2 films on their own. Now, you cannot have a film without creativity skills, without communication skills, without emoting skills, without editing skills. So for all of that, they have to work out of their comfort zone.
Mhm.
Only then can they produce it. And that is why many of our students, when they just now we had the convocation, many of them said that we came as very different people and we are going out as very different people.
That definitely makes sense. Now, I think this is something which a lot of students kind of contemplate when they are applying for NMIMS as a university and when they're looking at what particular program they should be opting for. So, my question to you is, who should opt for this course?
First of all, while there are 2 aspects to it. One is what is the entry criteria, right? So we do take students who are non-math background and students who have maths background. Both are welcome in our
Okay.
course because our course has opportunities for both the types. If the student is a non-math background, he gets ample opportunities to hone their creative skills, logical reasoning, critical thinking, communication skills, and thereby make great branding professional. If the student has mathematics as a background and is good at that, in that case, the entire industry is witnessing a big surge. There's a double-digit growth in digital marketing. And therefore, the mathematics skills actually helps. So we have courses like we start off with Excel, but we also do social media marketing. We do marketing analytics that requires mathematical skills. We also have AI in advertising that also requires numerical skills. So we do have scope for both these students.
Fantastic. And what would you say is the outcome of this particular course?
Sure. So if I were to speak of my students, the kind of jobs that they are getting in large branding firms, in branding startups, they are also going and working with product-based companies who have brands and therefore need a skilled person to make the brands. They are getting into sales and distribution jobs. Some of them are also getting into consulting because they are good at the critical thinking, logical reasoning. They've made reports like that. So that is the kind of
Okay, that's
opportunity.
the outcome of the
That's
program. Fantastic. And what kind of support is provided to the students and the post graduation options if a student is ideally doing a graduation in BBA branding and advertising?
So first of all, our college itself offers a PGP, postgraduate program in marketing, communication and digital media. So we do offer that. So one of our students, because it's a competitive exam, he has secured admission in NMIMS MBA he cracked it, but it's up to the student. Other students actually go to other IIM colleges and they try to get admission.
Okay.
Some of our students go abroad and they get admission. One of the postgraduate option is MICA,
Right.
because we are also about branding, but we are graduates. MICA is about postgraduate. It's not digital, but it is strategic communication. So that option is also available, and students have taken that. Besides that, we signed an MOU with the New York Film Academy. So we have arrangements where the students can go for either a 4-week or a 6-week simple training program, some skilling, or they can do their masters there.
Okay.
Which means they can do 2 years with us, and the 3rd year they can go to NIFA and they can do that. So that means they will get a dual degree. So we just recently signed the MOU. That is why it is not showing on our website. On our website, we have progression agreements with the UK-based universities, with Australia-based universities, and with US-based universities.
Lovely.
So a lot of information is available on the website, and the student can go and get. Even the NIFA will come in the website shortly.
Fantastic. That would be very good. And thank you so much for sharing this information with us, Dr. Kiran Desai. It definitely would help a lot of students and parents.
I just wanted to add one thing.
Sure, go ahead.
If a student wants to know more about our course or about the student life, then we, like you very rightly said, what extra skills do you teach? So one of our teaching method is, most of the subjects are taught in the class, and then there is an out of class activity.
Okay.
So there are 12 clubs, and the student must participate in some of the other clubs so that they have a holistic development. Now, as that club activity is reflected in SOBA snippets.
Mhm.
SOBA snippet is a publication run by the students, which will cover all club activities,
Mhm.
which will also have the businesses that our students run on their own. So there is a SOBA startup page. Then there is a SOBA faculty page. So what happens is, just by going on our website and clicking on that month's SOBA snippet, a student can get a good idea of what exactly to expect in the college. And many of our many of our current students have told me that's how they decided whether to come to SOBA.
Fantastic. I'm sure with this information, student would definitely go on the website and would look at it. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
doing this for us. And
Not at
thank
all.
you.
Thank you for having me.